So Wednesday night we were in Eau Claire at a hotel. And we come into the parking lot, it's about 10:45 at night. And they said, your room's on the end of the hotel, you can use that door. So we get in the car, we drive to the end and park there, taking 4 spaces. It's a 1970s Corvette Stingray and I don't know, year 2000 something ZR1 Corvette parked there. So I tried to park in between them if I could, but it didn't work. And then I parked really close to the one. No, I parked good long distance from them. I thought, oh, I love this. This is great. This is my dream car. It's right here. So the next morning I got up, I went to the service station, filled my tires with air to make sure they were pressured. I came back, parked, and then one of the guys came out. He had a Corvette. Figured, oh, I wonder if he has one of these Corvettes. This Corvette on his shirt. Sure enough, he says, yeah. I said, this is my baby. When I was 16, I fell in love with this style of Corvette. I said, I did too. I tell my daughter all the time, I'm going to get one of these when I have $15,000, $20,000 spare change in my pocket. But I always loved that style. I mean, I like the new Corvettes, but the old ones are really cool. I like those. And he said, well, this new ZR1 my cousin's got, it's rated at 684 horsepower. I thought, ooh, that'd be great going to work with one of those, wouldn't it? I could use that power if I have to pass somebody on the way. But I thought to myself, you know, I seem to be somewhat of a progressive guy. I like to go with the times. But yet, my wife reminds me, you still have one foot back here somewhere because you're sometimes more conservative than you think you are. So I've got this divider in myself. I've got some of the old stuff I really love, you know, old hymns, old cars, those kinds of things. And I like the new things. I like the new data phones, my new tablets, and I knew all the technology is really nice. But sometimes I put that away and use pen and paper because I like that too. So progress from back then to now is a journey, it's a transition for all of us, I think. I'm thinking sometimes it's more difficult than others to give up some of the older stuff. And then I think about this reading that the Marundis did such a nice job with. You know, the Egyptians were really enslaving the Israelites, and the Israelites were complaining. They were having to make bricks with less materials and more bricks, and had to keep working at it and slaving away, and they were complaining, and God heard their cries, and of course, Moses gets plucked out, and he gets chosen to kind of take this rabble and move them along. So in this story, we've got them already, the 10 plagues are behind us now. They're already going to the Red Sea, and like Sue said, they're stuck there. Now what do? We see the Egyptians back there, and we think, you know, the old way wasn't that bad. And then I think, you've heard the analogy of the frog in the water, right? Take a frog and take some room temperature water, put them on the stove, put them in the pot, turn on the heat, and the frog just sits there, and the heat gradually comes up, and then after a while the frog dies, but he just didn't want to leave. But yet if you have boiling water, you try to put the frog in, he gets out quick. And that's kind of what I think about the Israelites and some of us who are kind of stuck and we just want to be in a bad situation. It's a lot better than what might be out there, which might be a worse situation. So the Israelites are afraid. Fear is a powerful motivator or demotivator for things. Why don't we just stay in Egypt? We knew what the devil was back there by the name of Herod and this army that he had, which was unconquerable at the time. They had chariots were like a B-1 bomber in our era. Chariots were the weapon of choice. Whoever had chariots, they trumped everybody else. And yet Moses was saying, don't fear. We've heard that before. Jesus told his disciples, don't fear. Fear not, fear not. Because they know how awful that can be to live with fear. But yet it's hard to change. Anybody who's grown up in an abusive home or an addictive home or dysfunctional home know that sometimes it's something that you know. Even though it's not good for us, we know that it's what to expect, sort of. But to get out of it, it's almost like getting out of the frying pan and into the fire. We don't know what's going to happen next. And the Israelites were scared to death. Even though God, throughout their journey, showed them that God was with them and things are going to be okay because God is guiding them. Pillar of fire, pillar of smoke, cloud. So don't have any fear about that. You know, and we work with other countries in the world, and we understand that they've been around a lot longer than we have. There are wars in the Middle East that have been in existence way before the United States has been in. They have cultures that have been in existence way before our democracy ever had an inkling. But we can't, in some ways, expect that they want to adopt something different, because their mindsets and our mindsets tend to be stuck in a certain way. It's hard for me to change from one patterning of thinking to another. It takes a long time, and I've got to be properly motivated. Sometimes it is fear. Sometimes it's something else that grabs me, motivates me to go the extra mile, to do something different. But here we have God with his people. 40 years in the desert. When you look on the map, they could have done it in a matter of weeks. Why so long? Is that thunder in the background? I don't know. Why so long? I asked that question in seminary. Why so long? 40 years. What's the purpose of that? And then I wonder if it's not because you need time for generations to change their mindset. That victim mindset that they had leaving Egypt had to change. Otherwise, they'd go from one place as a victim to the next place and still remain victims. Like any one of us who've been in dysfunctional homes, if we're a victim in one place, we're going to find someone who will abuse us or treat us like a victim, and we'll just settle right back in that role. So I think God took his people and decided 40 years, that's about a generation. I have a generation of working on you and showing you that I am freeing you, that there is a different way of living, that you can be free to live not as a victim, but as a more full person, as a child of mine, as a child of God. There's freedom in that. And I think 40 years is a good long time to change mindsets. Hopefully it won't take us that long to change our mindset in some things. But yet, we know that Egyptians, as well as ourselves, if we really think about it, if we really reflect, we know that in respect, God has been with us the whole way. The Israelites know that God has been leading them the whole way. God's heard their cries, for one, took Moses, did the plagues. He defeated the evil one, Pharaoh, used his own means against him. Now, what did Pharaoh do? Why was Pharaoh such an evil guy in the first place? What did he do to the firstborn sons? Threw them in the river. Drown them all. I don't want these Israelites populating the earth. Well, let's get rid of the... And so we see a turn of events in which the Israelites are running for their lives. And Moses, as an actor of God, as God's person on earth to help things happen and go along, spreads the water, which represents chaos in the Old Testament. Water is the water. Israelites walk through dry land. As soon as the Egyptians come, life is tough. They make it tough for themselves. Water comes down, they drown. How ironic. Is that what God has done for us as in terms of evil? God is on the sides and helping. Defeat that evil, the evil one, by protecting, by guiding, by being with, providing a way out. But Moses says, remember, don't fear that God is with you. God stills the storms, tames the chaos, gives you respite in the midst of all of that trouble that you've got in your life, the worry that you've got in your life. And God is always there, helping. Amen.